Real Estate. I'm John Chrismo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to our past students, to our current students, and to our future students to help you mastermind and take your real estate business to the next level. Today, we're talking about the actions that lead to success. The actions that lead to success. So, very important because everyone in real estate wants to be successful, or at least I hope they want to be successful. So, stick with us. We're going to be talking about today. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. I'm John Chrismo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. If you're interested in starting or enhancing your real estate career, make sure you check out our website or give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106. And you can find us online at tampaschool.com. Again, that's tampaschool.com. You also want to check out our Success Center. If you haven't checked out our Success Center yet, go on there after the show, of course, so you don't miss any of the content from today, but we've got lots of videos, lots of articles, lots of tools to help plan for your success in the real estate industry, and that's available at tampaschool.com/success. Again, that's tampaschool.com/success. If you guys want any sort of like tips or anything like that, check that, search it. It's such a comprehensive database of so much information, so go ahead and find that all on there. But let's talk about today's episode. Every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we do State of Real Estate, and this show is designed to help you grow and mastermind about your real estate business to really take it to the next level. And we've had a lot of people even tune in with this that find value in other businesses that they have in addition to real estate, because a lot of these practices that we talk about are universally applicable, not just in real estate, but we're going to be focusing on real estate. So let's talk about what today's topic is: actions for success. Now, success, it's such a simple thing. It's winning. It's getting what you wanted. It's everything falling into place. It's such a simple concept, but what leads up to it and what makes that success possible is so complex. There's so much knowledge, so much information. And on top of that, it's not just the knowledge and information it is that you have that ultimately makes you successful. You can be the smartest person in the world and not be. Maybe you're successful at being smart, but now when it comes successful to actually making money or actually making things happen or changing the world or whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's not the knowledge it is that you have, it's the actions that you take on that knowledge. And even if you're taking some of these actions without having the full picture, without having the full knowledge, those actions are going to do more than what just having the knowledge alone would have. So absolutely having the knowledge and knowing what it is that you need to do and how to do it and the repercussions and laws and rules and the best ways and most efficient ways, that's all very important. But today we're focusing on the actions. Really, we could boil this down to two things when you're starting in real estate or when you're trying to jumpstart your real estate career to make your real estate career better, more successful, whatever it is that you're trying to do. Number one, you've got to have the right training. Number one, you've got to know what it is that you need to do. But now number two is you actually have to do. You actually have to take action. I've been guilty of this, and I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there as well that you've gone and you've learned something. You're just like, wow, this is a great tip. This is a great tool. This is something that can make me money. This is something that can make my life, my job, my whatever easier. And you just don't actually implement it at all. Whatever that may be, whether it's other things that come up or something that sidetracks you, or life happens, and that's perfectly fine, that happens. But you always have to be taking actions. And usually the best time to take action is now, because the more you put it off. So let's talk about the anti-action first and foremost, which is and another thing that I'm guilty of a lot of times, even to this day, I'm still have a constant battle with this, and I'm sure a lot of you as well, and that's putting things off. Procrastination, that's the anti-action. Procrastination is the opposite of action, not just the inaction, not doing things. You could even want to do these actions, but procrastination a lot of times gets in the way. And a lot of times we try to make sense out of the procrastination. We try to make sense of putting off the actions we need to take. And we could say things like, oh, I don't know how to do that, so I'm going to put that off until later, until I know how to do that. Or I'm not sure if this will work, so I'm going to put that off until I am sure that it's working. And, they're sound arguments when you think about it, but this will only work out for you if you actually do the research or do the learning and do that immediately so you can implement those actions immediately, which never really happens. I don't think that's ever happened to me. And the way, because you might have some things that you're procrastinating about right now. Maybe it's some clients that you need to call that you haven't been wanting to call because you're reasoning this out in your head. Again, you're the more you get this in your head, the more you let your mind run wild with these what if type of scenarios and all these excuses as why you shouldn't take that action, the harder it gets to take that action. The easiest time it is to take an action is immediately as soon as you have that thought. Think and do. Just think and do. Just, okay, I want to do this. Okay, let's do this. I need to call this client. Okay, let's call this client. Because when you do that, that allows you to not get held back, to not fall into analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis, where you're basically paralyzed in your actions because you're busy analyzing it. You're analyzing the deal. You're trying to figure out, okay, the very perfect best way. You're trying to get all the stars to align. The stars never all align. You never get something 100% perfect and dialed in exactly the first time. So you have to be willing to make some mistakes. There's going to be times where you do something and you didn't do it right, and you can't let that paralyze you from taking future actions. You can't let the post-traumatic stress of whatever event happened or whatever action you did in the past that caused some sort of issue, and now you're thinking, oh, well, if I do this again, that's going to turn out like what happened before. It's probably not, because number one, you're more knowledgeable, you're better experienced, and you have a better idea of what it is that you're doing. So you shouldn't already not have to worry about that as much. But now the worry becomes a lot more real because you've already failed in the past with something like this. So we're going to be talking about some ways where we kind of drill down and dial into the best ways to really get action going right away and start taking actions immediately. We're going to talk about some real estate specific scenarios. We've got a great show for you guys. I'm really excited to bring it to you, but first we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. If you guys have questions or comments on any of this stuff, throw them in the chat so I can read it while we're on commercial break here, and I'll bring that up when we come back. So we'll be back in less than 2 minutes. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrismo with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
I have done for my
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. I'm John Chrisman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to our current students, to our past students, and to our future students to help you better plan for your success in the real estate industry. And we've got a great resource for you. That's our Success Center, where you'll be able to find the recording of this episode as well as every previous episode of State of Real Estate, Ask the Instructor, and a bunch of great articles, calculators, all kinds of tools to help you plan for success in real estate. That's our Success Center. It's available at tampaschool.com/success. Again, that's tampaschool.com/success. But let's get back to today's topic, and that's the actions for success. So first and foremost, we've got to define what that success looks like. You've got to understand, okay, what the success is. You've got to know what the success is so that way you can plan for it accordingly. And I know this seems silly. I mean, we already broke down that success is a very simple concept. It's just the execution and the events leading up to that success which become complicated. And that's where most people fall off the wagon and don't ultimately reach that simple bliss that is success. So first you define your goal of what it is that you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for a certain amount of income. And we did an episode, we've actually done a few episodes on this, and we've got a whole business plan calculator available on our Success Center for helping you plan out, okay, I want to make this much income. My average property I would sell is this much. I charge this much commission. And this is basically what I have to do and how much work I have to put in every single day. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but we're basically breaking down the chain from all the way from start to finish from, okay, these are the number of people it is that I need to talk to. These are the people I need to advertise to, the number of people I need to advertise to. These are the people I need to mail to, that I need to knock on their door, that I need to pick up the phone and call, whatever that may be. So let's first start out with new business. We'll talk about new business first, and then we'll switch gears and talk about how you could close current business and the actions that ultimately lead to that. So let's start with drumming up some new business. So let's say that we're doing some farming strategy, because farming a nice and easy topic, and everybody understands this. Hopefully you do. At least if not, go back, watch one of our previous State of Real Estate episodes where we did talk about farming in much more detail. But farming essentially is where you're marketing to a particular area constantly over and over again to develop saturation in that area. So let's say our strategy is that we're sending out mailers, that we're sending out letters, or whatever that may be. This is a very easy action for us to take as maybe as a timid salesperson that doesn't want to talk to people, because the biggest blockades that you're typically going to see are the things where you start getting towards closing a deal. That's where the actions become, especially when you're new at this, they become a little bit more you've got a little bit more inertia holding you back trying to accomplish the actions of closing. But getting your first couple clients to talk to you and things like that, that's arguably a little bit easier, especially with a farming strategy. Now, farming, you want to remember, it's a long-term strategy. This isn't something that's going to gain you business today. But if you've already got some business today and you're working on building up your business for tomorrow, for next week, next month, whenever that may be, that's where farming is going to really help you out. So let's say that we're sending out some sort of letters. And now the actions are basically, okay, we're sending letters. And now what can we do? What additional actions can we take to help speed up our success? And you know, I'd be asking John, well, wait a minute, I'm already sending the letters out. That's an action enough, isn't it? Yes, that is. And that will hopefully eventually get you some business, and it should eventually get you some business, but we're talking maybe 8 months, 10 months, a year from now, maybe even 2 years that you're waiting to get business off of just sending maybe one letter or one postcard or whatever that may be a month. So now, how do you speed up this process? How do you accelerate this? So let's say, so we already took one action of getting in their mailbox. We're already in their mailbox. That's one type of action. Now, another type of action we could get, and I actually just kind of checked out a stat on this. Did you know that the average amount of time people spend on their phones right now in 2017 is 5 hours a day? And that's a lot of time that they're spending on their phones, browsing Facebook, checking their email, on Twitter, Instagram, and their text messages, whatever it may be, FaceTiming. It's a lot of time that they're spending on that device. So they're spending, you think about it, they're sleeping 8 hours out of the day. We've got 16 hours left. A third of the time that they're awake, they're on their phone. So now, as a marketer, as somebody that wants to gain business from them, The action we need to take is we need to get in that phone. We need to get in that device that they're devoting a third of their life to. That a third of their waking hours they're spending in that device. Almost a third, it's slightly less than a third, but basically a third of their time they're spending, and there's people out there that are spending 10, 12 hours a day on their phone. There's some people spending all day on their phone. So how do we get inside of that device? And there's a lot of different ways. So we've understood, and this is again the whole kind of planning for success thing that you got to keep in mind. Our plan is, okay, we need to get it, we've already got it in the mailbox, that's good. But people aren't spending 5 hours in their mailbox, 5 hours in their mail that they've got, their physical mail. Email, they're probably spending more time going through that every day. So, and there's another route we could go into. Okay, do we have their email address? No, we don't have their email address. Well, let's keep that in our back pocket for when we do eventually get their email address. Now we could take actions on their email address to get into their email address and again further accomplish this saturation in these people's minds that we're the real estate professional in the area. Now, how can we, so let's say we're going into this area. We just sent out our first mailer. Now, how else can we tap into these people? We're going to talk about some more kind of hands-off digital type of stuff and hands-off type of marketing, and then we'll start talking about the direct stuff, which are the actions that are really start to build the success. But why I recommend leading into this, number one, okay, with some sort of mail piece in the mail. Number two, now, with the digital strategy. So let's take Facebook for instance, because almost everybody and their grandmother right now has a Facebook and spends some amount of time on Facebook. There's really no getting away from Facebook at this point in time. And this may change down the road with other social networks, but they'll all have advertising platforms. But Facebook's is really powerful because what you could do, so we mailed to a specific geographic address within a specific geographic area with so many people in there. What we could additionally do now is develop some Facebook ads, and Facebook makes this super easy. They give you stock images to use for free. You could upload a video, and that's probably better. I wouldn't recommend the stock videos and photos as much because it's not really personalized. It's not going to be too memorable, but they are available to help make that process easy. Facebook is all about making you spending money on advertising easy. So you want to develop some ads, and now don't overthink this. Don't go crazy. This could be something as simple, and these also tend to work a little bit better, of just doing a little selfie video on your phone and just kind of recording yourself to your phone and saying, hey, look, I'm the real estate professional in your area. I'm actually going to be going through the neighborhood this weekend. Give me a call if you want me to stop by and give you a free valuation of your property or whatever that may be. So something like that. I know it doesn't seem like, oh, you're saying, oh, well, they don't put ads like that on TV. I was looking at the numbers in this. This was a little bit harder to find. People are spending, the time they're spending watching TV is dropping. They're spending more time in here. This is what they're more familiar with. So TV needs to adapt to the phone rather than the phone adapting to TV. So what that means is you don't have to have a blockbuster Hollywood budget to create some sort of ad to be able to reach the people you want to do business with. If you want to do business with somebody, you just have the face-to-face. People are going to appreciate that, and you're going to stand out more because the ads that they are seeing for, especially the big names and the big companies, the Procters and Gambles and Nestle and these big companies that spend billions of dollars really in advertising a year, where they have the big flashy advertisements, you're going to stand out amongst that because now it's a very personalized advertisement. And the great part about something like Facebook or Twitter or Google or anywhere it is that you're advertising like this, it's very easy to switch up what type of ads it is that you're using, and you can make those decisions based on what actually is working. You can see how many people are clicking on your ad, clicking call you or whatever that may be. So now we're hitting them from two angles. We're hitting them in their mailbox, in their physical mailbox by the street. They see that. They probably just toss away our mailer because, that's what they do with most junk mail. They say, oh, junk, 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 and they're tossing it out. But as they see it, it starts to build up the repetition. And our goal is to try to get in their minds 7 to 9 times. If you're doing that just by sending one piece of mail a month, that's going to take you like 8 months before they start to even recognize you and start to remember who it is that you are. So you don't want to wait 7 to 8 months for business, am I right? No, you want to try to get business as soon as possible. So what you have to do is start building that repetition beforehand. Start building the repetition ahead of time. Okay, we're in their mailbox. Now we're in their newsfeed. We're on their phone. We've tapped into that device that they're spending a third of their waking hours on. That's huge. And we're able to do that because so in Facebook or a lot of these digital platforms, when you're advertising, you're able to drop a pin right on an area and set a little radius. Or there's a lot of different ways you can narrow down who it is that you're marketing to. But remember, always keep in mind the basic principle of farming, and that is you're not marketing in random places. You're marketing in a very specific, very directed area to a specific area. Because again, you start planting seeds all over town, none of those seeds are going to grow. You've got to plant the seeds, which is what you do when you do your first piece of marketing, your first impression with them, and now we're nurturing them, now we're watering them, now we're trying to grow business out of that initial advertising that we're putting in there. So always keep in mind the cardinal rule that you're always trying to market to the same people enough times until they do business with you. And now I want to talk about some of the other things we could do. So we've gone through, we've sent out a letter, we've spent some money on some Facebook ads, and now they're seeing, we've got 2 impressions down. So what are some other ways that we can now further start to warm them up to us? So let's start off with the most basic one, which really requires the least amount of planning, and we'll talk about some of these more complex ones you could do, is okay, we've sent the mailer, we've been running the advertising for about a week in this particular neighborhood, and you've got the statistics to see how many times their ads they're getting, that they're seeing these ads. Maybe you're also in Google, you're spending some money on pay-per-click, so that way if they're searching for real estate in the neighborhood, that you're showing up right up at the top of the list. A little expensive to do that, but when you have the saturation in the area, when you're focusing on a particular area, that's what helps speed up and maximize your return on investment. So keep that in mind as well. But now, how can we really have an action that really kind of puts it over the edge, that really kind of takes them and really kind of says, this is me? And that's actually going face to face. Face to face, because this is really going to be the one that's ultimately, this will almost count for a couple impressions that you have. And I'm going to show you some ways of where you could maximize this face-to-face time into, okay, you're not just seeing me here, but now we're getting into this device again. We're getting into their email inboxes. We're getting into their mailboxes. We're constantly around, and we're doing it in a way that's showing, hey, you know, we're the biggest and the best real estate agent in this area. It doesn't matter that the area it is that you're marketing to is a neighborhood of 150 homes. You want to be the biggest and best real estate agent within those 150 homes, and you can do that with these strategies it is that we're talking about today. But I want to talk more about that face-to-face, because that's really what's going to take you over the edge. That's really going to take you from, okay, just being some sort of enigma that they've seen online, that they've seen in person, to actually putting flesh and bone and voice and touch and feel to all of that. So stick with us. We're going to talk about that after this short commercial break. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrismo with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
I have been for my love.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. I'm John Chrismo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. If you're interested in starting or enhancing your real estate career, make sure you give us a call. Phone number is below in this little bar. It's 813-928-0106. You can also check us out online at tampaschool.com. So make sure you reach out to us. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that they can to help you understand a little bit more about starting a career in real estate, or maybe you've got post-licensing coming up or continuing education or whatever it is that you need. Maybe you just need some exam prep tools, and we've got a whole strategy geared around getting you to pass your exam on the first try, and that's all available at passfirsttry.com. You'll find all those links in the little bar that we've got below. But back to today's show, we're doing State of Real Estate, and every Friday, 12 noon Eastern time, we come to you live to take your real estate business to the next level, to help you plan for your success in the real estate industry. And we've talked about this already at the beginning of this show. The success, it's such a simple concept. It's the concept of winning, of getting what you want, of making the amount of money you want, whatever it is you're striving for. Having success, that's simple. Getting success, that's the part that takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of actions. You have all the knowledge in the world, but without the appropriate actions, you're not going to attain success. Actions are what attain success. Even with gaining knowledge, you have to take action to gain that knowledge. You had to take action to tune into this live stream that we're doing today. You had to take action to go read an article. You had to take action for any sort of knowledge it is that you're taking in, but that action, you now have to do another action and actually implement what it is that you're learning. So disclaimer with all this stuff here, it won't work if you don't do it. But if you do it, you might have some bumps along the road, you might have some stumbles, you might have to course correct a little bit along the way, but it's those actions and recorrecting it and going forward with even more action that's ultimately going to lead to the success that you have. You think of the most successful people, and you could just do this exercise for a moment and just think about the people that you deem to be successful, and think about what it is that they do to attain that success. What is it that they do to have that success? What actions is it that they're taking to have success? It's a lot of work for us to put on 2 live streams a week, and we've been putting out a lot more videos on top of that. But we do that because we know actions are what lead to success. You have to take actions. You have to do sometimes things that you don't always want to do, that don't always seem like fun things to do, things that the dirty jobs, the things that you don't always want to do. It's taking those actions, the actions that others aren't willing to take, that will lead to you gaining success. And that's why there's so many people that don't ever attain success, is they're not willing to take the actions that are sometimes the hard and difficult actions. And now, we've talked about so far some ways we could advertise, really. Because that's really all we've talked about, is just advertising, which that is taking action, but it's a very hands-off action, and it's an action that requires a lot of repetition to be able to start cranking out business. And we're talking about how you could speed this up, because there could be a lot of roadblocks ultimately holding you back. Maybe you do want to invest in some advertising as a real estate professional, but you've got to have a big budget to be able to advertise over a long enough period of time to rely on advertising alone to generate you new business. I mean, just look at how much Zillow or Realtor.com or any of these platforms that do the advertising for you, basically, and you're just paying them to get in on that advertising, and how much they charge. I mean, you're talking sometimes as much as $200, $250, $300 a lead, and that even, I think, is on the cheap end. I think they've gone up since the last time I've checked on them a little bit, and that may be even higher in some other the markets that you guys are watching from here. So large sums of money, and not every single lead turns into some sort of deal. So you might have to go through 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 leads, maybe $2,500 before you get a deal. And if that commission is $2,500, I mean, you're breaking even there. So now there's ways to make this work. There's ways to maximize the advertising, but the point I want to make is the advertising is costly if you're relying on advertising alone. But if you're coupling advertising with actions, So we talked about, okay, we're sending out a mailer, and then we're getting in their Facebook stream, or going on their Twitter stream, Instagram, or we're doing some digital advertising so that way they're seeing us online. But again, we're targeting that marketing to the specific area that we're trying to farm, so we're not breaking the bank trying to market to everyone in all of Tampa or all of Florida or all of wherever it is that you guys are watching from. But now, how do we accelerate this? And this is the one thing that's ultimately probably going to have the biggest effect out of all of them. It's the thing that most people are probably most hesitant to do, but once you start doing it, you realize it's not so bad. Especially, and that's why I always preface this with, okay, we did some advertising in the area, we sent out a mailer, we're showing up in their Facebook feeds, because now, when you come knocking on their door, knocking on my phone there, when you come knocking on their door, they might actually recognize you. And even if they don't recognize you, even if they don't say, hey, you're the guy from that I saw in the mail, that I saw on Facebook, that I saw on Twitter, that I saw on Instagram, or whatever that may be, they might not be saying that, but at least they start to recognize your face. And they're wondering, and this is usually even better, where they're saying, where do I know them? Is this one of my friends? Is this a coworker? Who is this guy? Was this somebody I used to work with? Was this somebody I used to go to school with? And that's where you want to be at, where they kind of recognize. Now, ultimately, you want them to say, oh, you're the real estate guy. Hey, what's going on? Oh, it's like, wow, you are real. What are you doing out here at our house? Are you filming right now? Or are you doing something like that? So either way, you want to have them to have at least the slightest bit of recognition to start to know who it is that you are and know why you're coming up and knocking on their door. And you're just saying, hey, I'm the assigned real estate professional in this area here, so I just want to stop by and introduce myself, get to know you guys a little bit better. I know you're probably not looking to sell your house right now, but when that day comes, I'd be more than willing to help you out with that. So I just wanted to, start to get to know you. What was your name, by the way? And you get their name, and you want to have some sort of either a physical pad or an iPad or something, your phone even, something to take down this information. And usually writing it down on paper like this, because you could write like this. Not many people could type on their iPad or type on their phone while looking somebody dead in the eye, which is why I usually recommend against the digital devices when you're trying to do some sort of prospecting like this, because you have to look down at that keyboard. Until we've got like Elon Musk making us some sort of like cyborg type of super real estate agent where we could, like we hear these things and they're automatically going in our memory and they're automatically getting stored in our contact database just by hearing them. Until we've got some sort of embedded iPhone or something like that, that's why, again, I recommend the pen and paper, because you could just write just like this, and I could be writing my name. It's not perfect right now where I'm writing on this piece of paper, but I could kind of tell what it is that I'm saying. I could, glance down quickly, but I could continue making eye contact with them, because that's very important when you're having these face-to-face meetings. But like I said, leading up to that, getting into there beforehand with actually having a little bit, the slightest bit of recognition, maybe a mailer or two going out to them. Maybe you send one week and another week right after that, so you're really hitting them, because I'll let you in on a secret here. They're probably not going to realize that if you just sent them 2 weeks back to back, or maybe 3 weeks back to back, or maybe 5 times in the last 2 weeks, they're probably not going to realize that they've probably just figured, oh, well, I'm just starting to recognize this right now. They must have been sending me stuff all the time. So you're kind of able to hack the system a little bit, hack into their mind, and then say, wow, they spend a lot of money on advertising here. This must be the best realtor in town, because when I want to sell my house, and they're not going to look at your advertising in a bad way. There may be a few people here and there that do, but if they ever do and they ever bring it up, wow, it looks like you spend a lot of money on advertising, and you would say something like, oh, matter of fact, we do. Wait till you see the houses that we market for sale and the amount of advertising we do for that. That's nothing compared to the advertising you guys have seen here. So it's ultimately a good thing, because not only are we marketers to gain new clients, we're marketers of the properties it is that we have for sale. And that's what we're going to talk about for closing deals and what actions you take to kind of get these deals closed as quickly as possible. But let's finish up a little bit on the gaining new business. Now, having the face-to-face interactions, this is your best chance. This is going to be where you usually have your highest success rates. There's going to be a lot of doors that don't open up for people that aren't home. There's going to be probably a few doors that close on your face that just don't want to hear it from you, that don't want to talk to you. Now, those are rare. A lot of times when you're going in the neighborhoods, the people are very friendly. They're very nice. They might even invite you into their home for a drink or whatever that may be. So people typically are friendly, so get the thoughts out of your head. Like I said, for taking actions, any actions it is that you don't want to take, don't think about them. The more it is that you think about how you're going to die if you go knocking on a door, or you think about that if you pick up the phone to call somebody, that the phone's going to electrocute you, or whatever that may be, and these crazy thoughts will get in your head. Maybe not that eccentric, but you get the point, that you get these thoughts that are just things that probably aren't going to happen. They're false experiences appearing real. The whole acronym for fear, false experiences appearing real. So you don't want to let that build up and start to grow and start to fester and keep you from the actions that are ultimately going to lead to your success. So a couple more things when we're meeting face-to-face with these people, just showing up, knocking on their door, getting to know them, getting their names. We want their names. We want their email address. You say something along the lines of, hey, are you already on my email newsletter? Matter of fact, actually, you know what? I know this address. You guys aren't on my newsletter. They don't have to know that you don't have any addresses on the newsletter yet. Matter of fact, this address, no, I know for a fact you guys aren't on there. Well, what I do is I send out a market report about once a month or so, along with a little bit of a newsletter of what's going on in the neighborhood, or whatever it is that you want to market out to them. But your goal here, the action is that you want to take, is to get their email address, so that way you could get in the phone again. So not only are they now seeing you on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social networks it is that you're advertising on, but also in their email inbox. You're in their physical mailbox and their email inbox. And this is how you develop that saturation, where there's not a shadow of a doubt that they know who it is that you are, and they know that you're the best real estate professional in the area. That's the goal. That's what all these actions are ultimately. That's really the success. That's the success in establishing your brand and your name and establishing your foothold in this neighborhood, is getting them to think of you as, when they think about real estate, they think about you. That's success in the marketing realm. Now, the success in the sales realm of this is, okay, and you really got to have the success in the marketing. Now, whether you're doing direct marketing, like going the door to door, or you're just sending out the advertisements and you're doing the hands-off marketing stuff, or you're doing the combination of the both to try to speed this up as quickly as possible, it's all for nothing if you then do not take the action of trying to close a deal, of trying to get business and trying to close a deal, which you've got to establish that first bit of them knowing your brand and knowing that, hey, you're the professional in the area. They've got to know you first and foremost. And this can be done very quickly as well. If you've got an upcoming appointment with somebody that, some random person that called you, that saw you online somehow, who knows how they got your phone number, they tried to explain to you, but you can't really figure out, okay, how it is that they found you and got your phone number, but whatever it may be, they want to work with you, and you've got an appointment with them. They've already got a little bit of knowledge of you, but what you want to do now is accelerate that knowledge, accelerate what it is that they know about you, and knowing that you're the real estate professional in the area, and that you're the best real estate professional in the area. And the way that you do that is, okay, so when you have that initial conversation with them, you get their email address, and you're going to email them stuff out almost immediately, right after you're off the phone, because that's when they're hot. That's when they're looking for more information on you. So you send that information out as soon as you get off the phone with them. And you want to have some sort of preloaded content, some preloaded like little template in your email that you send out that's got a quick about you. You might be saying, well, don't they already know about me? They said they went on my website. They probably read the about me already. Why would I send that to them again? Don't assume that they read the about me. As much as I've studied website statistics for many of the websites that I've ran and otherwise, it's astounding how quickly people browse pages and how little time they'll spend on a certain page and how little information they'll take off of a page, and really, for lack of a better term, how much they don't read stuff. So you want to give them as many opportunities as possible to reinforce the information about you, about your brand, about your services, and why they should select you as their real estate professional. So you send out that email immediately, and those are the things you're trying to target. Why you're the best, what it is that you do, what your services are, how you can help them. Maybe if you've got client testimonials, that's a great thing to slide in there. Kind of a whole kind of like pre-appointment thing, and you should do this whether that's a buyer or whether that's a seller. So that way, immediately they've got some information. You tell them, hey, look, I'm going to send out some information for you real quick. Just and don't even be specific, because if you say, I'm going to send my bio for you to read, they're going to say, oh, I don't want to read this guy's bio. They're not even going to bother looking for your email. But if you just say, hey, look, I'm going to send you out an email, just go in and review the information that's in there so you'll be ready for the appointment we've got tomorrow or next week or whenever the appointment is set for. But you don't be specific to what's in that email. You just tell them, hey, go check the email. And then maybe you text them the next day, hey, did you get the email I sent you yesterday? And what you're doing now, you're now getting in contact with them through another route, another way it is they have to contact you. And personally, I prefer to communicate with my clients through text message, because that usually allows for more open communication. I mean, when you're on the phone with somebody, you've got to set aside time to be on the phone with them, and so do they, and sometimes you can't always meet up. Really, text message is the evolved version of email now, especially with everything text messaging can do, especially if you're iPhone to iPhone, and then it's like a world of possibilities with the iMessage thing that you're able to do. But the text messaging in general is so convenient, so you want to be able to communicate with your clients that way. And what you're doing, you might say, John, this sounds like a lot of work. Can't I just go on this appointment and then wow them then? Try to concentrate all my efforts to just that appointment? And the answer is yes, you can, but you're taking a risk, and you're doing a big disservice to yourself, because you're taking a huge risk of not getting their business. So by doing all this work beforehand, taking all these additional actions beforehand, by sending them out the welcome email, sending them out a text message, giving them a call the day before to confirm the appointment, maybe sending them out something else. Maybe if you're dealing with a buyer, you might say, hey, look, I found a couple properties I think you might like. What do you guys think about these ones here? I have a few more I want to show you on our appointment, but I just want to kind of get an idea of where you guys are at and see if I need to tweak my search at all before we start looking at some of these. What do you guys think about these ones? So you're having all of these touches. You're having all these touches to really start off building a very strong relationship between you and your clients. And when you have a strong relationship with your client, it becomes immensely easier to close the deal. People ask me and question and wonder, what's the best way, what's the most effective way to close a deal? And the most effective way to close a deal, the fastest, easiest way to close a deal, is to close a deal with somebody that you know and you trust. Because if you know and you trust that person, you trust that brand, and you trust the product, there's really nothing to talk about. It's just, where do I sign? And that's what you're aiming for, because that ultimately, that's our picture of success. Again, we've got to define the success it is that we want. And there's all these other successes. Notice the first one I talked about, the success in marketing, is getting them to think of you, number one, when they think of real estate. When they think of real estate, your face, your name, even your phone number or email, that pops into their mind. So that's your goal and your success with marketing. Your success with closing deals, the best types of deals are the deals where they're like, okay, where do I sign? I'm in, where do I sign? And you don't want to have to oversell. You don't want to have to oversell. It takes time that you don't need to spend, and sometimes make your clients less confident about the service or product it is that you're offering. So the way that you make this whole closing so easy is leading up to the whole appointment, you've got them already sold on you. You've got them sold on you. You've got them ready. And that way you walk in there, you kind of go over a couple little things, and you say, all right, you ready to do this? You ready to get your house sold? You ready to go find your dream home? Whatever that may be. And you say, okay, great, before we get started, just need you to sign here, here, and here, and we'll get rolling. So let's say you didn't do any of that. You didn't do any of this to kind of warm them up, to get them to accustom and knowing you and knowing that they could trust you beforehand. You're spending this time in the appointment trying to convince them that you're as great as you are. And what happens is that takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of you where maybe you're not thinking as clearly. It takes a lot out of them as well. When you're able to spread this out over the few days preceding this appointment or right after they called you, or that whole gap between, okay, they want the appointment and we have the appointment, you're constantly in that time reinforcing your brand, your name, your image, and making sure that they know going into this appointment to not set other appointments, because that's another thing. That's another deal killer. Is they've got somebody lined up right behind you. They've got somebody they said, oh, well, I don't want to sign the paperwork yet because I did promise I really like you, and you know what, I'm really sold on you, but I've already promised this person I would listen to what they said before I would sign with anybody. And what's going to happen is they're already going to be sick of this process. This other person comes in and they're just like, all right, well, whatever, let's just get this over. And then they'll just sign with them. So the way to kind of prevent them from interviewing other agents is for them to have the understanding that they don't want to use any other agents. You want them to be sold on you before you even have to do any actual kind of selling in person. Before you even go on this appointment, you want them to be 110% sold on you. And again, that's okay, sending out the welcome email as soon as you have the first contact with them. Hey, look, I'm going to send you out an important email. I just want you to review that and see the information that's in there, and then just let me know once you've reviewed that. And they say, okay, I'll check my email right now. Okay, great, I just sent it to you. And then maybe if you don't send it right on the call, when you're doing it right after, you then maybe send a text message, hey, just sent the email, did you get it? And so that way they check, they look for it, okay, there it is. And maybe they spend some time reading through it, maybe they don't, and that's why you confirm the next day, whether that's through text message or through call. Sometimes you've got to see, okay, which one of these actions are gaining a response. I prefer and I love to communicate with my clients through text message because that makes it a lot easier for me. But sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes as many people that are texters today, there's still people out there that don't, and you might still have to get on the phone and actually talk to them over the phone to confirm that information, to confirm that they did get the email there, whatever it is that you sent them, or whatever it may be. So just try to think of these creative ways that you could get them sold on you before you even have this appointment. So that way when it's time for the appointment, they're like, okay, done, let's do this. This is going to take too long, right? I've got stuff to do today. Nope, matter of fact, it won't. Let's just have you sign right here, and I'll go and get started for you. So it should be as easy as that, and it can be as easy as that, again, if you've got them warmed up enough to where they're ready to go. So we're going to talk more about actions that lead to success. We're going to talk maybe a little bit about closing the deals on the buying side, the selling side, to where you're actually getting paid commission, because you know that's the ultimate big success that everyone's looking for in real estate. So stick with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrismo with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
I have been for my love.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate, the final segment of today's episode of State of Real Estate. What we do every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time is come to you live to our current students, to our previous students, and to our future students to help you get a better handle on how you plan for success in the real estate industry. We talked about that already in this episode, that, real estate, it's a very, success is a very simple concept. It's the events leading up to the success that they often sometimes are very simple as well, but it's just a matter of doing them. And there's a lot of these actions that typically lead to success, at least for the success that's worth chasing after. Those usually have the most amount of activities that are required. So I told you guys that we're going to talk a little bit about closing the deals and some actions you could take to close the deals. And so let's say we're working with a buyer. And now what are some actions we could take to close a buyer? And also want to touch on which actions you shouldn't take if you want to close a buyer. So ultimately what you're trying to do when you're trying to align a buyer with the correct property is that you're trying to find the perfect property for that buyer. And a lot of times, most of the time, as a matter of fact, the buyer doesn't even know what that perfect property may actually look like. They may say, oh, I kind of want this, but I kind of want that too. I'm not sure if I want 1 story or 2 stories. So they'll use that word, not sure. So what that tells you is they don't know what the perfect property is. But it's your job to find out, okay, what's that perfect property look like? And really to build confidence, to extract the information. So what you want to do first and foremost, again, a lot of this comes into what you're doing beforehand, the preparation you're doing beforehand, and that makes the actual sale, the actual closing, the actual signing of the contracts very easy because they already know, okay, yeah, this is it. This is the one we're signing here. So what you want to do ahead of time is do an extensive pre-qualification of this buyer, not just from the financial side, not just for the mortgage loan, because that's usually the only pre-qualification most real estate agents do. What they do is they say, hey, look, I'm not good at picking out property. You're good at picking out property. So go on Zillow, go on my website, go on wherever, find the properties you want, and then I'll show you those properties, then we'll have a deal. And the reason why that happens is because the real estate professionals simply, even if they're not conscious of this, is why they don't want to go through the effort of trying to find the property for them. They want them to find the property. Okay, you go through, you find the property, and then I'll show you the property. And then we'll write up the contract. Well, if they're doing that, what do they even need you for? Yeah, for writing the contract, but they don't need you specifically. So what you want to do is counsel them. You want to consult them and get an understanding of what type of property it is that they need. What type of properties that they need, and then what items or wants that would be good on top of that if we could find them, and then also establishing, okay, we need that to be in this price point, but really get this boiled down, and don't let this be what ifs, or let them kind of be closed up on you and say, oh, well, I want a 4-bedroom, but, a 3-bedroom would be good, but, 5 bedrooms nice too. Well, yeah, of course, any amount of bedrooms are nice, really. So it's your job to really kind of dial in, okay, well, what is it that you need? What are you going to be using these other bedrooms for? And they say, oh, well, it's just me and my spouse. Okay, well, what are you using the other bedrooms for? Oh, well, maybe if we have some guests. Okay, well, who are the guests that you're going to be having visit? I don't know. We don't really have guests visit. Okay, well, are you sure you need this many bedrooms then? Oh, yeah, you know what? Let's go down in bedrooms. Or you could say something more along the lines of, hey, we could get you a lot nicer 3-bedroom house at the same price we get you a not so nice 4-bedroom house. So would you be interested in that? And you'll still have 2 extra bedrooms. So these types of conversations that seem like they're a little bit tough, but they're tough on you and they're easy on the client once you've kind of had these conversations, because now you could go out there, search the inventory that's available, find the ones that match up with their specific criteria of what they're looking for, and now have a few options. And you could go through and, okay, they like this option here. Okay, well, you like this house? Do you want to write the contract on this house? No, you're not ready yet? Well, what is it that this house is missing that this one doesn't have? And if they say, oh, no, it really has everything. Well, look, we could go look at some other properties, but a property like this, it could go off the market at any minute. And that's true for any property. There could always be another showing that comes in and it's off the market, or you're in a bidding war or something. And again, you're taking the action now of trying to get it under contract. And what you could say to reassure them is like, look, you say this property is perfect. I think it's perfect for you as well. And if you want to make sure that we're not in a bidding war with other buyers, or that this doesn't get taken outright from underneath you, what I recommend recommend is that we put this property under contract today. Don't worry, I'm going to put an inspection period in there, so if you guys do change your mind, we've got X amount of days that we put in here to cancel this out. So we could still go ahead and look at some other properties to see if you like those any better, but I think this is going to be the best property for you. And now that takes a lot of the indecisiveness out of this process. And if they're not ready to do that, okay, well, what's wrong with this property then? What is it that you don't like about it, so we can make sure we don't have that in any of the future properties? Because there's got to be something it is that they don't like, unless they're just totally not looking to buy a house. Sometimes it takes, this is a big decision, it's a big commitment, so it sometimes takes a little bit of coercion to get them to understand, okay, you know what, yes, I can see myself living in this house, I can picture it, this is the house that I want, thank you for kind of helping me understand that. So that's what it takes sometimes. It's not always super easy. Okay, yeah, I want this house, let's write a contract. Sometimes you'll have people that are like that make decisions very easily, but most people, even the most decisive people, will be a little bit unsure about the properties that they're choosing. And there's a lot of factors that weigh into that. It could be the financials, it could be the layout of the property, it could be the location, it could be a lot of different things. But you're saving grace with them. That's why I talked about that inspection period, or whatever clauses or additional addendums that you want to put into the contract that allows your buyers to be able to get out of the contract. You work that in there, so that way for these unknowns, these things that they're not sure about, these things that they're saying, oh, well, you know, I'm not sure. Well, what if the inspection's bad? Oh, we've got the inspection period in here. Well, what if I just don't like it? Well, you know, we'll just put in here that this is based on final approval of this person, or whatever that may be. You could get really creative with these things that you're putting in there, but you're putting these loopholes, these safeguards in there, so that way they're able to make the decision today, sleep on a little bit, see if they still like that decision, and chances are, if that really is the house for them, they're going to warm up to it. And if they say, because you'll have this happen as well, they'll say, oh, you know what, can we cancel this contract? I really don't, I don't think that this property is right for me. You'll have that sometimes, and usually what that comes down to, and you want to have the conversation about it, not just try to convince some other side wise, oh, I completely understand. What was it about it that made you change your mind? And then they give you some of the information here, and they're giving you that data and the information. Maybe after you've gotten that information, you're still saying, well, that's not something you have to worry about. I think you guys should stay in the contract here. I'd give it a few more days to think about it. We still have got some time for you to still cancel the contract out. And think about that a little bit more, and then let me know if you still don't think this is going to be right for you. And there's no harm on them when you've got these well-worded contingencies and clauses and loopholes in your contract that allow them out of that. So make sure you've got some of those tools in your pocket, so you can then take those actions, and you've got ways to make sure that your client ends up being happy. So that's all I've got for you guys today on this week's episode of State of Real Estate. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know you've got some tips in here somewhere, some way, some shape, some form that are going to benefit your business. Something that maybe you're not already doing. Maybe some of the stuff we talked about you are already doing, but try to maximize what it is that you're doing. Try to use those additional tips. If you're already sending out mailers to an area, take this weekend. We're going to have, I don't think it's supposed to rain here in Tampa this weekend, but there'll be some times where it's not raining, but we're going to have really cool weather this weekend. It's going to be nice and chilly. You could get out there, go look at all the Christmas decorations in neighborhoods, and get out there and knock on doors in the neighborhoods it is that you're mailing to. Or maybe pick up the phone and call some of those clients you've been putting off calling. Take action. Actions are what ultimately leads to success. Without actions, there's not going to be any success. So keep that in mind. That's true at the beginning of your real estate career, the middle, the end, at all times, and really everything you do, not just real estate. All good things come from taking action. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Make sure you go to our Success Center and drop your email in there. It's tampaschool.com/success. If you put your email in there, we'll send you notifications whenever it is that we do go live, so you don't miss any of these live streams that we do every single week. We've also got a lot of great calculators and tools and articles and videos. All of our State of Real Estate, all of our Ask the Instructor videos are all available at tampaschool.com/success. tampaschool.com/success. Again, that's tampaschool.com/success. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting, and I will see you next week. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
I have been for my love.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate.